Hey everyone, this is Dave here. Just had lunch in the city with a guy I've known a couple of years, and but I haven't known him well. It's the first time we've actually gone out and had lunch together, and you know, that's pretty cool. I'm always skeptical, though, as an introvert, why certain people want to go out. Guy's not that outgoing. I've known him, like I said, for several years, just not close. We talked about a few things. Told me about his personal life with his wife. I know his wife, I know him, I know their kids, their teenage kids. And the first thing he told me was, we got settled, we got our food, and him and his wife are estranged. Now, they live in the same house, so I took that to mean, okay, they're not intimate with each other, maybe they're not sleeping in the same room, maybe they're not even having conversations with each other. I mean, I don't really know what that means when a guy tells you him and his wife are estranged and they're living in the same house together. That would be very awkward to me, I would think. But we went on and talked about other things, and I was telling him a little bit about my life, and you know, how I'm fortunate enough to live the life I want to live. I'm financially independent. I have my properties. I do what I want to do. I normally stay up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I get to bed about 4:35, drift off to sleep about 6, and I'll sleep till 10 or 11 or 12 o'clock, and I get up and that's when I start my day. And I was explaining to the guy, you know, I love my life because I don't have to put up with unreasonable bosses, unreasonable employers, or unreasonable bosses, or unreasonable managers, or unreasonable timelines, unreasonable customers. I don't put up with any of that anymore. I live in the country. I don't even have neighbors. I go to the city when I want to get things, or when I want to go out to eat. If I have problems in a restaurant, I don't go back. You know, if the food sucks, or like today, he wanted to go to this, talk to this guy the other day, and he really touted up this new restaurant. And, you know, it is a new restaurant. I watched it go in, like everyone else did. And he told me how great it was and all that. And we get there today, and I will never go back to this restaurant. And I'm not going to get in why. But the life I live, I'm not tied to anybody. I'm not tied to a time clock. I'm not tied to, you know, I don't have to go back to a restaurant I don't like. And the next time, if I meet this guy again, I'll tell him, hey, anywhere but that place. He can take it or leave it. But anyway, I was telling him about my life, you know, how I live my life, and that it's wonderful. And check it out. The guy got mad. The guy got mad at me. He spent about 3 seconds staring at me when I'd finished, looked at his watch and said, you know what, I got things to do. I got to get out of here. Stood up, slid his chair under the table, shook my hand, gave me a hard look, and walked off. You know, he still works. Well, one of the things he told me about was he's been on his job for about 20 years now. He was recently moved to another department, and he got into why that happened, and he wasn't happy with his job, and him and his wife were estranged. And I mean, I didn't didn't think the guy would get his feelings hurt. He told me about his life, and I told him about mine. And, my life wasn't always like this. I wasn't always in control of my life like I am now. It took a lot of hard work to get to this point. So, the guy got upset, and I think he left. And I'm not going to analyze why. Maybe he was really, really envious of the life I lived. Maybe he was angry. I know he's a manager at the place he works. He was a manager of a big department until they moved him to this new department, and now he manages a department about half the size that he used to. And I'm not going to speculate why that happened or why that is. But, when I was sharing with him how I don't have to put up with unreasonable employers, unreasonable managers, unreasonable bosses, and I wasn't talking about him. I don't even know the guy that well. I meant no harm. I wasn't taking shots at him. And, I'm sorry about the relationship he's having with his wife. I'm sure that's very awkward. They're estranged in the same house. That would be very awkward. She's a very beautiful lady. He's a good-looking guy. I don't know why he's in the situations he's in, but he is, and I'm not. So I'm going to vlog about it and put it away, and my heart goes out to him. But on the other hand, I'm not going to sit here and feel bad for the life I've spent many years creating. Okay, I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. I feel bad for him. Tough luck, tough break. But you know what? If he works hard at it, he can turn things around, and he can set himself up like I set myself up years ago, some years back. And he can do it too, And the bottom line is, when I go out with people like that, I really cringe at going out, because you know what? I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychotherapist. I'm not, really and truly, I don't want to hear your personal problems. I don't want to hear them. I don't know what to tell you. And I feel awkward for these people. I felt awkward today watching him squirm across from me, telling me somebody he had never went out to lunch with before or had anything to do. We just know each other in passing. And yet he's unloading on me about his marital situation and about his career situation. And maybe he just wanted to tell somebody that he didn't know. And maybe I'm cheaper than a psychologist. Could be. But I'm feeling awkward for him. And because, number one, I'm feeling awkward I'm feeling sorry for the situation he's in. And number two, I don't know what to tell you, bud. I don't really want to meet with people like that. Dude, can't we go out to lunch and have a good time? Can't we go out to lunch and talk about cars, weightlifting, football? Why did you agree to go out? Why do we agree to go out to lunch, and then I sit there for an hour listening to your marital problems and career issues? I'm not a psych, man. I don't want to do that. So you see, I'm really skeptical when I go out with people. It's like, look, I don't bleed on other people. I don't bleed on people. Even if I have issues, you'll not hear about it, or at least personally. I won't sit down with you. I may vlog about it. That's different. I have never corralled somebody in a restaurant, in a restaurant or anywhere else, and unloaded on them about my personal problems. I don't do that. Never have. I don't bleed on people. So I felt really uncomfortable. And as far as I'm concerned, we really don't need to have lunch together again. If he can't be any happier about life than that, or at least find some positive things to talk about while we're out to eat, dude, you can count me out. I'm not into it. Let's find something funny to talk about. Let's find something cool to talk about. You know, anything except you telling me about your problems. I can't deal with that, folks, and I'm not going to go there. So, you know, Dave the Introvert strikes again. Mean old Dave. Dave wasn't sympathetic. Dave ran him off. Whatever. You know what? Don't bleed on me, because I don't know how to help you. If I had a degree in psychology, I would be glad to help you. But then again, if I had a degree in psychology, I'd be glad to help you at $150 an hour. So, just thought I'd do a little vlog and fill you guys in on that. Put another video up. But think about it. I mean, come on, man. You guys want people bleeding on you? I don't mind helping people. I've got some relatives that come to me every now and then. Hey, man, I'm having struggles here or there. Especially the young ones. I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I love them very much. And I help them out when I can. But dude, this guy isn't a niece or nephew. This guy's not even a relative. This guy's not even a close friend. And I didn't really need to hear the things I heard today. So hopefully he bailed on me because I didn't share my wonderful life. Not to say I don't have my issues, but I'm not going to share them, and I'm not going to bleed on people. Talk about the positive, man. The fun stuff. All right, this is Dave the Introvert out. Later, Gators.